Just checking if everything is alright. Yeah, looks fine.
Take your time.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another breakfast with the captain. Since we're approaching the 57th anniversary of Star Trek, I thought I have to invite again a veteran of a Star Trek podcaster and leader of Star Trek Online Priority One Armada. Hi, Winters. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for inviting me back.
It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, same here as well.
And having an expert in the podcast franchise is also not bad, since you also worked on the audio part of that. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I was the chief audio engineer for Priority One podcast for quite a few years, and a host and a producer. Some good times had there for sure.
Do you miss it sometimes?
Yeah, we used to have so much fun. You know, it was such a laugh. Because you're reading a script and people are messing up and they're saying the wrong thing or they can't get a sentence out. And as I'm sure you know, like we'd always have bloopers at the end of our shows, and there were some really, really funny occasions and mess ups down through the years, you know. So that's something that I always miss about the podcast.
Yeah, at the beginning, it's so frustrating that you can't read a simple sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as a non-native speaker, sometimes I bite myself so in the ass for messing it up for so many times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know exactly what it's like. I particularly used to struggle with like Klingon ship names or Romulan ship names. Things like that would trip me up all the time. I was terrible for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know that problem. And also foreign names, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
How is this pronounced in English? How is this in the native language? Which version should I take?
Yep. Well, on our one of our current productions, Priority One Armada Live, I'm known as the Butcher of Names because like we do giveaways and stuff like that, and we randomly pick winners from whoever's tuning into the show, and some people have like really, really unique usernames, and trying to pronounce some of them on the fly is really, really difficult, and I always seem to mess it up, so I've become known as the Butcher of Names.
Oh yeah, that's also a problem of mine.
Yeah.
I can't really say I have a problem in general reading, but sometimes, especially if you stream and it's on the side monitor,
Oh yeah.
I mess up those letters. I read something completely different and there is... So yeah. Originally I wanted to start already 20 minutes ago. Sadly, the line at the bakery was a little bit longer, so you already have had your breakfast.
I have, yes.
What did you have?
Coffee was the first thing, but I just had some toast, coffee and toast. That was it, basically. Just something small, just to keep going for a little while.
I also basically just have coffee and sweet stuff. It's in German it's called a Zimtschnecke, which means something like cinnamon snail. I think it's called really cinnamon roll, maybe in English.
Oh yeah.
So nothing too fancy and nothing very typical from Austria, but I have it often during a lunch break or if I need a quick bite in the hospital.
Yeah, you don't need a massive, like a 3-course meal. Like just something small and simple will be fine.
Yeah, definitely. Even though so many Hollywood movies introduced us to this idea, breakfast is the most important part of the day. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me.
Not a problem. Just switching maybe now to the main topic. What is new in your side? What is new in Star Trek Online and in your fleet?
So there's actually quite a bit of stuff going on. I suppose I'll talk about Star Trek Online first. There's a new season coming out on September 12th. We're going to get a new story mission. We're going to get 2 new TFOs. Ships are being essentially they're increasing in level in a way. For anyone who's playing Star Trek Online, they'll understand when I say ships are going to T6X2, which means basically they're just being upgraded a step further. And we just found out, I think it was yesterday, that there's going to be some updates made to how players interact with Borg in game. Yeah, specifically, what they're doing is I suppose the first thing I should say is currently, when you fight the Borg, you get maybe 3 shots off, and then they'll adapt to your energy type, or basically to your weapon. And there's a device that you can have on your character, and it's called a frequency remodulator. And it takes like 10 seconds for the remodulation to take effect. And then you're good for another 3 shots. And really, it's not that great of a mechanic. But they're doing away with the remodulator, and they're applying like an automatic self-modulation thing. We don't know an awful lot about it yet, but basically Borg and how you interact, how you attack them, is going to be updated, and it's going to change in a little bit. So I suspect over the coming days, we'll find out a little bit more about that as they release blogs.
I read about the ship upgrade, but not about the Borg upgrade. That's nice. Do you know if they also upgrade a little bit the ships?
What do you mean exactly?
We mentioned so many times during our last meetings how the Borg in space are also way too easy.
Oh, right. If they're going to be actually upgrading the NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been no mention of that yet. Basically, we got a blog yesterday, and it talks specifically about the Borg and remodulation, and that it's changing. That was the guts of it. So we don't know if this is the first step into a much bigger and comprehensive revamp of the Borg enemies, or if it's literally just this remodulation thing and that's it. We were talking about it last night on the Priority One Armada Discord server, and we're hoping that this is just the first step or stage in a much bigger update to Borg in the game and their adventure zone that exists in the game. But again, we have to wait and see if that is indeed going to be the case.
It would be really interesting, and a first, I would say, having ships which could adapt to the weapon fire.
I actually thought about that last night because I was thinking about the remodulation. I was like, they don't do that in space combat, and I was like, I wonder why. And I was thinking about it for a while, and it must be something technical with the firing of weapons in space. There must be something there, some sort of a technical hurdle that they haven't been able to get over up to this point. And maybe they still can't. Like I said, we don't know what is or isn't going happening yet. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to come out over the coming days.
Definitely. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that. And I know a lot of the members, generally the entire gaming community is for STO is looking forward to the new season update.
it's sadly also feels very, very long since we had the last update.
Yeah, so they've kind of got into a cycle where they're doing updates roughly once every quarter. So you're talking about 4 updates a year. Now, that's not including events that are going on throughout the year. That's not including seasonal events like, the summer event, the winter event, the autumn event, the anniversary. Like, these are all of the things that happen throughout the calendar year. But season updates, where you generally get 1 or 2 missions, maybe a TFO or two, seems to be once every quarter. So you're looking at like 4 major updates a year, roughly. Seems to be what they're doing at the moment and for the foreseeable future.
I can only hope that they have something a little bit bigger always in September for the anniversary. It would be fitting, I think.
Yeah, so I think this season update is meant to play off Star Trek Day, but there is actually a Star Trek Day event in Star Trek Online, but they held it last month, and we don't know why they've done that, because we were saying it shouldn't really interfere with a season update. And the Star Trek Day celebration in Star Trek Online is basically like a museum of ships, and you can go up to in Sol system, like above Earth. You can go up to all the hero ships, the Enterprise Connie, the Defiant, the Enterprise D, Voyager, so on and so forth, and it has some story and a bit of lore, about the ship and the crew and what have you. But like I said, for some reason they held it last month, and we couldn't figure out why they weren't holding it, in September for Star Trek Day. We couldn't figure that one out, and we haven't heard anything from them as to why they've done it that way. But whatever,
I was also very confused why those ships are around ESD and DS9. It was odd.
Yep. Yeah, so it's something that they do every year. That it's like a little museum, and you can fly around and go up to each of the different ships, and like I said, you can find out a little bit of information from them. There's no event that goes along with it, or tasks that you have to do, and you get a reward after it. Like, it'd be nice if they could add something, if they came up with an idea like, oh, this would be a cool thing to do for Star Trek Day every year, but really they don't have anything too substantial at the moment, unfortunately.
I'm not sure, maybe it was too early for you because you joined STO after the free-to-play change.
Yep, that's right.
When we first got the Tier 5 Odyssey, we had kind of also a first contact event where we visited Utopia Planitia, where we went inside the station, had nice holograms, nice shipyards in the background. I think they should do something like that, and maybe combine it like that one Foundry mission where you could walk on the hull of ships. So basically a real Starfleet museum like in Picard.
Right, yeah.
It would be idea. Fitting, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because after seeing for is it now the third or second time, the ships around ESD, yeah, it's nice, but a little bit more maybe.
Yeah, it's lacking, I don't know, what's the word, substance or... Yeah, kind of like that. It's just lacking a little bit. And if there was something more like the example that you gave, First Contact Day, like that's an event. There's a TFO for you to do, and you can get a reward. They just have to come up with something like that, where you have a TFO or some sort of mission or objective that you have to do, and you get even a small reward, like a bonus pool, for example, which is what they do for first contact day. Like, it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be something new every year. But, just as long as there's something, that'd be really cool.
Either find the golden triple somewhere on the map. It could be a galaxy ship map. It could be a Intrepid.
Oh, yeah.
Or what could they else do? Maybe another hunt for something. Something which isn't involving killing. We need something different, but which is still fun.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't always have to be about pew pew, It can. I personally, I would like to see a lot more, science-y Starfleet stuff. Where maybe you're doing a first contact mission, and there's diplomacy involved and what have you, or a duck blind mission on a pre-warp civilization or something like that. I think I've mentioned that before on here to you. But stuff like that, I think would be a great addition to the game. And to be honest, I'm actually very surprised that they haven't thought of that themselves. I actually plan on bringing that up with the devs when we next have an opportunity to do that.
Okay, I would say let's switch to your fleet. What is on their side news to report?
So the last time I was on here, I let you guys know that we had just concluded our 10-year anniversary, which we hold our anniversary every June of every year, and we celebrate for the entire month. And we usually have multiple daily giveaways throughout the entire month. And then every weekend we have a major event where there's something for members to take part in, whether it's a Where's Winters event or whether it's what we call the Rysian Triathlon, or if it's a screenshot competition or whatever. And yeah, we're still kind of, well, no, we are, I suppose. This is our 10th year, so everything we do for up until June of next year is all going to be part of the 10-year anniversary. But our next major event is going to be coming up next month for our Halloween costume competition, which we're really looking forward to. We haven't figured out the details of that yet, but the information for that will be coming out on our website, and we'll let everybody know what the theme is, what we, the guidelines basically for the costumes that we want members to come up with. And we'll have some really incredible prizes for that, because again, this is our 10-year anniversary and this is our 10-year Halloween costume competition. But more recently, in fact, actually just last Saturday gone, the 2nd of September, was Kelly Bennett Day in the Priority One Armada. So I suppose I should give you some background on what exactly that means. But basically, we had a member in the community whose name was Kelly Bennett, or otherwise known as Admiral Bulls. And he joined the community and was a long-time member, started off as a lieutenant, and basically worked his way up to become one of the leading admirals in the community. Now, regretfully, in 2020, Kelly Bennett, or Admiral Bulls, was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. When he was diagnosed with the cancer, he informed us, and we said to him, look, do you want to take a step back with your responsibilities and whatnot? And he wouldn't hear of it at all. He was like, no way, I'm sticking with this. He didn't want anybody to cover for him. And it wasn't until near the end, which was November of 2021, when he wasn't able to maintain his responsibilities anymore. And sadly, we lost him in December, the beginning of December 2021. But after he passed, we wanted to do something that would commemorate him, because he was such an incredibly generous person. Like, he donated more prizes for use in competitions and events and giveaways down through the years. Like, it was really, really incredible. He made financial contributions to the community on our website and such down through the years. He helped more members, like new members coming into the game with bills and help and advice and such. He was just a really, really generous person. And we wanted to come up with a way to commemorate him and honor him for the type of person that he was. So what we done was we came up with the Kelly Bennett Outstanding Member Award. And rather than it being just about pixels and, a digital award that they would get on our website, we actually designed a custom challenge coin. And we every year now, we done it last year for the first time. We've done it this year for the second time. Last Saturday, the 2nd of September, which is Kelly's birthday, actually. We decided to do this every year on his birthday and call it Kelly Bennett Day. And what we actually do is we send the winners this custom challenge coin, a stand and a certificate for them to display in their home office or living room or whatever. And every year the winners get one of these coins each and a display stand and a certificate, and we mail it to them to their real life address for them to keep completely free of charge. And it's like one of our most prestigious awards in the community. And we have a whole, list of requirements, like, that members can work towards in order to qualify for selection. But we only award it once every year on the 2nd of September. And this year was our second year doing it. And actually, before I got on here, I was actually in the process of getting the awards and the envelopes and basically the packages that we're going sending. I was actually working on that, getting them ready to pop into the mail so that I can send them to their actual home addresses.
That's really unbelievable nice of you guys.
Yeah, like I said, we
nice
wanted
memorial thing.
Yeah, exactly. And actually last year we actually made a certificate and one of the coins and the stands we sent to his family as well. Like as a gesture, that he was such an important person to us. We actually got a set of these done up for his family as well, for them to keep.
Really, really nice story. Please keep this work up. It's amazing what you're doing here.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Like, this is a total surprise for the individuals. And when we announced this year's winners, I contacted each of the winners and basically asked them, for their address and the names that they wanted on the certificate and the winner's wall and stuff like that. And like, all of them, they're like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that you guys have, awarded me with this honor." And, the just people are so, or the winners are so thankful and appreciative to have won this, this award. Because like I said earlier, this is like one of our most prestigious awards in the community, and it's not something that's just given out, every other week or anything like that. It's once a year. It's a limited number of people, and what we say is, it's for dedication, loyalty, and/or generosity and community spirit is basically what the award is for. So people who demonstrate similar virtues to or like Kelly Bennett will win this award, and that's what we want to try and have it reflect as.
Really love it. And I think his entire family also is grateful for this honor.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just absolutely blown away by it. But he was a very important figure in our community. So, like I said, we wanted to, come up with something. What could we do to commemorate him and honor him? And this is what we came up with. And yeah, people are just, they're absolutely fantastic when they win. They're just so humbled by it because they know how important it is.
Yeah, just such a positive thing in such dark times we are living.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we try to do. Like basically what I always say to members is, like we don't do drama. And the reason for that is real life has enough drama and problems and stress in it without your gaming environment having it as well. So, we have a strict no drama policy. Our number one rule is to respect everyone. And, it's all to, because, like for me as well, the same as any of the members, Star Trek Online and the community, the Priority One Armada community, is a getaway. It's a breakaway from the stress and pressure of real life. And, we try to create a friendly, helpful, enjoyable, welcoming community, Yeah.
Yeah, hard to switch on to a different topic. Maybe just quickly to wrap it up, what are your next 2-3 events?
Within the community?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, our next big event is going to be our annual Halloween costume competition. We will be we're meeting. We'll be planning that at our next staff meeting, and we'll be figuring out the prizes. But we're going to go big with it basically, and we'll figure out the theme and the rules and stuff like that. But it'll be pretty straightforward. It won't be anything too hectic. And after that, then our next event to wrap up the end of the year will be our Great Holiday Giveaway, which is our winter event. And basically what we do every year for the entire month of December is we do free random giveaways for the entire month. All that members have to do is just be online in one of our fleets. And if they're on when we're doing a giveaway, they have a chance of winning something cool completely free. And that's basically how that works.
Just a question came up for me.
Yeah.
Do you feel you have more activity in the fleet when there are releases of Star Trek episodes?
When they come out with season updates, there is a noticeable increase in member activity. Definitely, there is always a rise, and gradually over the next month or two, it starts to go down a little bit, and then you get into the third month, and then the fourth month, and a new season update drops, and it picks back up again.
Maybe I also wanted to go in that direction, but first, do you feel it also during the release or season finale or season start of a real life TV show, if there is an increase?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, something good at least from the new productions then.
Yeah. Yeah, uh, um, like when Discovery hit the airwaves, there was definitely an influx of, and I'm not talking specifically about Priority One here, but to the game itself, there was a noticeable increase in newer players coming into the game. Um, and as the other shows came in, you could see those spikes coming up too. Um, and as STO released content then from the shows, like, we'll say the Titan from Lower Decks, like there was a lot of interest in that. And uh, the same with the Discovery and the Mirror Discovery and so on and so forth. People tend to come back when they're like, oh, there's new stuff.
Yeah, that's of course the nature of online gaming. I played
True,
the game
true.
basically 20 times already from start to finish, and there is
Mm-hmm.
new content. Of course, I'm coming back.
Yep.
Just interesting that the outside also has an influence on that. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Anything else you want to share for the fleet?
Um, no, that's pretty much it. We're still celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We have our annual Halloween costume competition coming up. Then we have the great holiday giveaway in December to wrap up the year. And we just announced the Kelly Bennett Outstanding Member Award winners last Saturday. So that's pretty much most of the news and updates that's been happening in the Priority One Armada.
Great. Then I think I will just say a few lines or more than a few lines on my side. And at the end, I
Yeah.
want to hear your opinion of an idea I have.
All right.
Basically, since the last update video, I again made a few changes, switched, maybe you can hear it, to a new microphone. It's now the Rode Pod mic and XLR mic. So
All right.
a little bit less room echo here. So I like that very much. Then I bought an entry-level camera, the Sony ZV-1, basically for later the unboxing. We quickly do then at the end.
Oh, nice.
It's not a big camera where you can change the lens and everything. It's entry-level, cheap and good quality. Nothing
All right,
too
good
crazy.
stuff. Very good.
Then I recorded also the first review. Sorry. With my new co-host Owen from the Wing Commander 4 Remastered project. He's basically helping me now doing reviews of space combat simulation and certain action games, which doesn't mean that Saturn is going anywhere. He just needs a little bit more time for other projects. And yeah, basically simulation games are not his favorite games. And I love them, so we must cover them on this channel.
Right.
Another thing we have to cover always on this channel is, the Star Trek September. A big celebration from me, for the community, for the franchise, where I basically play all the classic Star Trek games, invite special guests like you, like modders from Armada 3, Fleet Operation, Roots, Pulsar's Lost Colony, so many community stuff, which is basically in the spirit of Star Trek, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah, and after the big celebration, I will of course do more classic content, where the negotiations with my wife went very well. She finally agreed to spend some time in front of the microphone with me. I can introduce her a little bit to the gaming world, so she doesn't think I watch all the time YouTube videos about crystal meth or other stuff. The plan is basically to spend an hour together, show her a game, talk about her experience, and maybe it's just a pipe dream. I would love to combine that with another video series I have where I ask players why they play a game. For example, I want to start with her an MMO, 1-2 hours I play with her, and the next session I will invite a guest, play also 2-3 hours, and their personal story, what they have with the game, and maybe ask them at the end why my wife should play games in general, or in general this game.
Very good.
And yeah, if this doesn't end in my marriage and in the divorce, or maybe I convert her to a gamer wife, but yeah.
Hey, you can dream. You can dream. There's nothing wrong with having a dream.
Definitely, I dream of that for 13 years now, that she will be a little bit more on the gamer side.
Yeah.
Just basically want to share my passion a little bit.
Of course, yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, of course, I want to do that also for Star Trek Online a little bit later. And yeah, I guess I will contact you again.
Awesome. Yeah, by all means.
Yeah. I hope. Do you think it's a crazy idea to do this to your wife, or what do you think?
No, I don't think there's anything. I mean, the way I look at it is, you want to try and include her in, your hobbies and passions. Because it'd be awesome, to have someone that you can share, something that you have so much love for. Obviously, you have a lot of love for your wife as well, but we all have our hobbies and interests, and I think it's a great thing, to want to have your significant other, be involved in something that means a lot to you, and that you spend a lot of time doing.
Where I already had a little bit of a success was we watched basically most of the classic movies and series she didn't know, because she's from Lithuania. And she didn't see most of the Western TV as a child, of course, and as a teenager. So she didn't know Star Trek, Stargate, Terminator, all the stuff we grow up.
Yeah.
And yeah, she enjoyed Star Trek very much. Of course,
awesome.
Some hit and miss there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What did you start her off with? TOS or TNG?
To be honest, TOS we only skipped a little bit.
All right. Okay.
We just dived in a little bit, I meant to say. I picked 10 episodes, a few movies, because it's a little bit hard to get in. We started Next Gen.
Right, gotcha. Yeah.
And also I wanted to show or give her a feeling how the production quality and everything will get better over the years. So I showed her first contact really early. Yeah. So she got a feeling how everything will evolve and how it looks and feels basically later on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think her favorite series is Voyager.
Oh, wow. I actually just finished a rewatch of Voyager, was it last month or the month before? But yeah, I actually done a rewatch of it not so long ago.
Yeah, and I would say we also can now switch to basically the other main topic here, Star Trek Anniversary, and our thoughts maybe on the latest Star Trek. Something we currently watch, Strange New Worlds. And sadly, we both more or less had a little burnout of mediocre Star Trek in the last few years. It was one episode is maybe very great, and the next one is really, really strange or just mediocre. And we said, okay, we take our time this time. And now we watched yesterday I think it was the 8th episode of Strange New Worlds.
The musical?
No, that's the 9th. The
that's the 9th.
Is this?
It's the war.
The war. The look at the war and how.
The PTSD.
Exactly. It was. Some certain aspects were very well done, and the acting is very great, and the depiction of the war itself was great.
Yep.
But where I had some problems in the episode where the very end, especially
All right.
the
Yeah.
the killing. A Starfleet officer kills really and says at the end basically also, yeah, he earned it. Basically, he is such an evil person. It's not fitting for Star Trek. Star Trek is the beacon of hope for me.
Yeah. Very true.
And Nurse Chaplin also lied basically to cover him. It was very hard to watch the last few minutes of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it's also, I think, especially in this season, I loved from the start on Pike, but in this season, he's very weak. He isn't in some episodes even there. In the first episodes, he just went off.
Yeah.
In the second one, he got the lawyer and then he sat on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And,
I think this season probably, you're right. Like it done more for, let's say, the supporting cast. You know, like number one, for example, in I think it was episode 2, the courtroom episode. Like that was, you know, he was very light in that. It was mainly about number one.
which is totally okay, but the
Yeah.
problem here is he's still the commanding officer and he has to be some authority. He has to be sometimes basically the one who kicks your ass. And especially in the last episode I mentioned, he should have really pushed the topic a little bit and shouldn't just let it go because the doctor says, well, you didn't experience it, so you can't say it. You don't have an opinion. You can't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Which isn't something you should tell your captain, especially if he thinks you murdered somebody.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely agree there.
What do you think about the latest development, the latest seasons?
For Strange New Worlds?
In general, pick your topic.
I'm really stoked for, is it next week that Lower Decks is coming back? I think. I cannot wait for another season of Lower Decks. I just love that show so much. I'm really stoked about that. To be honest, Discovery, I still haven't watched. I've only watched half of season 4. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know how that all ended. Strange New Worlds. I do like Strange New Worlds. I think it's really good. This season had some really great episodes. It had some other episodes that I wasn't keen on at all. But overall, I think I'm happy with the season as a whole. I think for me, there's more pluses than there are negatives, if that makes any sense.
No, totally. I'm in the same boat here. It's a move in the right direction, but they still have to throw some garbage overboard here.
Yeah. My problem with so one episode I didn't like was the musical one, episode 9.
I'm so curious what I think about it. I haven't seen it, but I know, of course, it will happen and how it's depicted. What were your problems? Sorry.
Well, I don't like musicals as a rule, or in general. I don't like musicals, and Star Trek has never done a musical, to the best of my knowledge. Well, I suppose that's not true. Actually, there was kind of a musical in Deep Space Nine with the augments.
True. I forgot that.
Yeah, that just occurred to me. But it wasn't really. That's a gray area. But anyway, in general, I don't like musicals, and I just didn't enjoy that episode. The story that they give, to me, it suggests that we're never going to get another musical, which I'm okay with. I'm totally okay with. Probably my favorite episode out of this season is episode 2, the courtroom episode. I loved that one. I think it was episode 3 was the time travel one. That was a good episode as well. I like that one. And they're probably my top 2. So that's probably the best and worst in the season for me. Which I suppose you could say, for me, it started off stronger than it finished.
Yeah, that's the strange thing. I really think the intentions were most of the all of the time good, but how they achieved the goals sometimes were really, really off. The courtroom, for example, was a very important episode. The subject was very important in everything. But Una shouldn't kept her post. She got asylum and everything, and she is pardoned for her lies and everything. But just to leave her in command, in second of command of the Enterprise, without any reprimand, anything. It's 2 different subjects. There is the one subject of asylum, and the one subject of following the rules in the military. Yeah. I'm also very curious about your opinion here, since you are ex-military. In not only Strange New Worlds, in every new Star Trek series, I think, that's coming from me, as a non-military person, I'm a nurse, the officers and the crewmen are too relaxed in talking to the commanding officers, and in general,
very laid back.
The professionalism is very, very bad in new Star Trek shows.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Which is kind of funny because there's a contradiction in Discovery where Burnham is constantly getting not only herself but the Federation in trouble, you could nearly say, and then she's rewarded after it. So she started the Klingon War, and at the end she got the Medal of Honor. But not only her, the entire crew got the Medal of Honor. That would never happen in any military. It would be awarded to one person on behalf of the entire crew or something like that. The whole crew wouldn't get the Medal of Honor. That was such a ridiculous thing with that. But what else was there? Oh yeah, when Saru was captain, she was undermining Saru and going off doing her own thing. And then she became captain at the end. I suppose I think this is what you're getting at. The military protocol in New Trek is not there. I think that's what you're getting at. And if it is, I completely agree. You are definitely right with that.
I think in general, maybe it's the vintage look, of course, but I think in old Trek we had in the production crew more experts sitting who told them about military, about medical stuff.
Yep.
For example, a nurse would never do any genetic experiments or anything on their own. Of course, they have qualifications to do certain things without supervision, and especially in the military, they have more than the normal nurse. But doing crazy science which affects the genome and everything, come on. You never talk to a nurse. So the expertise in new Star Trek is very strange and very off.
Yeah. I think you've hit the nail right on the head there. Like it's like, whoever's doing the writing has watched one too many. You can't even say one too many war movies because that's not really true. They have their own ideas of how things work, and they haven't fact checked it at all. They haven't actually gone to okay, let's talk to a doctor or a nurse or whatever and see, are we getting this right? Or let's talk to a military guy and an officer or enlisted personnel and find out the protocol. Like they're not researching the protocol. as to how a military vessel and procedures are done, and so on and so forth.
I also have the feeling sometimes they only look at Wikipedia, read the first few sentences, and then, hey, I have a great story. Another example. It's so sad that I always have to go to the negative aspect, but they stick so out in the new line here. For example, the Lenar, the security officer Khan from the Khan family. It's so hard to accept her even being here, because
in
later,
Starfleet, you mean?
Not only in Starfleet, but on the ship. If you watch the TUS episode where they meet Khan, the first thing everybody would mention basically, hey, didn't we have this woman in security? Strangely, the same name. It's so out of order.
Yeah.
If you do
I
this,
picked up on that as well.
In another timeline, in the future, okay, but having this thought, this is the Star Trek we know and love, and even though we change the Gorn to a alien-like creature, really. But on the other side, they produce such a great episodes, like the one where the Doctor basically let his daughter go to the Nebula in the first season.
Yeah.
This was it brought tears to my eye, which is rarely in Star Trek done for me. It was such a big impact. And I mentioned this also here on the show. And the episode right after it was an alien ripoff, which you could never show a child.
Yeah.
I think, this is another big point for me. I couldn't watch this show with my daughter. It's not possible.
That's unfortunate as well. That's something that I picked up on early on with Discovery. Star Trek has always been very family friendly, always. And now you really have to pre-screen episodes before you could potentially show it to kids. Because
also it doesn't benefit. There is no real benefit to show it in that extent for an audience.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And the only kid show, and for me, really the best Star Trek show since 2005, Prodigy, they just not only cancelled, but they torpedoed it out of existence.
Yeah, God, so many people are so confused by that. And, well, I'm sure you've seen, like, on social media, like, the campaign that there is, Save Star Trek Prodigy. So many people really enjoyed that show and were like, what just happened here? How on earth did that get cancelled after one season?
Yeah.
It's like, what on earth is going on?
Also, not even that. They nearly are done with the production of season 2.
That's right. Yes.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think that it was such a positive show. You could watch it, have the same feelings like in the past. Basically, they didn't do any big mistakes. It felt so good.
Yeah, I know members in our community, and they were like, they loved it. They were sitting down with their children or their grandchildren in some cases, and watching Prodigy, and they loved it, and the kids loved it, and then they go and say, oh, by the way, yeah, that show is cancelled. There's going to be no more of that, and like it. You said there, bringing back memories, because a lot of people, I know, I didn't experience this myself now, unfortunately, but I know a lot of people have memories of growing up and watching the original series with their father or their mother or both parents, and the same with TNG. You know, they just have these wonderful memories of sitting down with their father and watching and enjoying the Next Generation or whatever. And Prodigy was today's version of that. And they go and cancel it. It's like, what? How on earth did that make any sense? Who on earth was in charge there?
Yeah. Any other thoughts, maybe? Something positive?
Uh, no, nothing's coming to mind, to be honest with you.
Maybe to close it off, I really want to be really, really happy about this franchise and positive. But it's such a hit and miss today. They move from one extreme in the other side. It's I just hope they listen more and more to the community and to the feedback.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Legacy becomes a thing. As it stands now, it seems like it is going to become a thing because they've done things like they've reserved www.StarTrekLegacy.com. That has been reserved, or basically they purchased it. We know that. So if they've done that, something's coming, or they're working on something. So that will be interesting to see. But of course, here's the other thing: we have the writer strike going on now at the minute.
Yeah,
and
that's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows how long that's going to go on for? So they might have greenlit Star Trek Legacy, but if the writer strike doesn't end for another 2 years, you're probably talking 3 to 4 years before you see Star Trek Legacy. You know?
Yeah, the future in Hollywood will generally be interesting.
Yeah,
we can only hope.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, then I would say let's look for a few minutes on some Star Trek ships, and then we call it an early morning. No, you already have midday also, so a nice day. But I would say we start here. I'm just switching on my second monitor to the camera.
Oh, awesome.
If it picks up, no. Yeah, laser brain. Maybe you should turn on the camera.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. So, nothing beats a nice live production. Ha! Unbelievable.
Not working, no?
Yeah. Of course, I tested everything. Now. Turned it on and off again. We have here an NX from Eaglemoss.
Oh, wow, yeah. What is it? What is it? What is it?
The
box is in the way. Get the box out of the way. I want to see what it is.
You will have a delay of a few seconds.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Enterprise NX.
Oh, just have to get it out.
And that's the large one as well, isn't it?
It's the large one. That's the XL version.
Very nice. Look at the detail on that.
I love how many details they can put on this.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Look at the shuttle base and everything on it there.
Yeah, this fine detail.
That is awesome. That is a ship, unfortunately, that I do not have. I have it in Star Trek Online, but I don't actually have a model, unfortunately.
I like also you can see a little bit through the nacelles.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really nice. Yeah.
That's a beautiful model.
Nice extension for the collection, basically.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was actually only talking about my collection last night on our Discord server.
Oh, this one. Oh, of course, I have to ask you. What is your favorite moment? Do you have a favorite moment of the NX?
Favorite moment of the NX. I have one. Just I need to figure out which one it is. I would have to say, I think. Dang, I can't remember the name of the episode. Basically, it was the episode where the Enterprise had to go and pick up a Vulcan diplomat who was accused of criminal.
Yeah, it was in early season 1. Can't remember the name. They always tried to go to Rise and never could get there because they had to do stuff.
Yeah.
And the first time where they really pushed the engine. Yeah, great pick. Great pick.
That episode, because I'll always remember they were racing ahead of the ship that was chasing them, and they managed to get a signal off, and the Vulcans arrived, and it was like, here's Big Daddy, yeah, leave my buddy alone, and basically fought off. Actually, didn't even fight. He just turned up. It was like, if you don't leave now, we're going to kill you. We're going to destroy you. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, yeah, go on. The Warp 5 engine actually done Warp 5.
Yeah, for the first time after 20 episodes. Yeah, my pick would be either the entirety of season 3 or the episode where they first met with Columbia, where they did this crazy maneuver where both basically fly in that.
Forget everything I said. That's my favorite one. Thank you for reminding me. That is my favorite. I remember that now with the Columbia and the personnel transfer.
Yeah,
with,
it was such amazing.
That was that's my favorite. Forget everything I said. Can we edit that out? Oh, man.
Sadly, the camera isn't big enough to see the next model.
ESD.
We have
the mushroom.
The mushroom.
Yeah, I remember the first time I seen that space station in TNG, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is that's a space station? That's what I'm talking about." Look at that detail on that.
Of course, the spires are a little bit bent, but I don't mind. And yeah, like you said, the detail here, if the autofocus is working,
that is just incredible. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, another one that I don't have.
Yeah, the drug dealer opened again, sadly. I guess Master Replicas is in business of selling everything, and I got already many. I didn't buy the first time, so the collection is growing, but I hope I get some more.
I have about, I suppose I have 20 or so models, maybe 30. So I have a sizable collection.
Nice. I bought also the DS9 XL, so I will contact you definitely when we do an unboxing of that.
Nice. Yeah, I have a small Deep Space Nine in my collection, and I love it. It is. Oh yeah, it's my favorite out of the whole lot. I love my Deep Space Nine.
Good, then I would say we wrap it off here. Thanks for joining. Sure. It was so nice talking to you again, and can't wait for the next time.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me back. It was absolutely fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and whenever you want to have me on again, by all means, feel free to hit me up.
I certainly will do so. Any closing thoughts before we really end it? Do you need more members in the fleet?
Yeah, if you're playing Star Trek Online, or if you're thinking about playing Star Trek Online and you're looking for a friendly, helpful, welcoming community, check out PriorityOneArmada.com. And you can sign up there and we'll get you into one of our fleets and we'll help you on your way in Star Trek Online. We have a fully developed website. We have our own Discord server. We have Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, loads of social media channels, and we do regular events and help people along and competitions and all sorts of stuff. So a good community for anyone who wants to get into Star Trek Online.
Oh, definitely. Alone Whether I hear it again today is, for me, the proof every new player has to go to your place.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, links, of course, will be in the description. And yeah, everybody, have a great day. See you around. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Adios.